Have you ever stopped to wonder how your phone's GPS knows exactly where you are? Or how a weather app can predict a storm days in advance? Well, believe it or not, it all boils down to one powerful, super simple rule in math. And we're about to break it all down. Welcome. In this explainer, we are going to totally demystify one of the most important ideas in all of math: functions. And I promise, by the time we're done, you're going to see them as a powerful tool, not some tricky problem to solve. This is your first real step to math mastery. Okay, first things first, we have to start with the absolute basics, the building blocks of how numbers and ideas connect to each other in math. And it all begins with something called a relation. So what on earth is a relation? Honestly, it's just any group of pairs that links one thing to another. You can think of it like a really relaxed connection, where one input can be linked up with a bunch of different outputs. It's flexible and there aren't any strict rules to follow. But now let's talk about the star of the show, the function. A function is like a special upgraded version of a relation. It has one critical rule, and if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. Every single input has exactly one output. Not two, not three, just one. And that one simple rule is what makes everything predictable. So let's look at this side by side, because this really makes it click. Over on the relation side, things are loose, right? An input can go to multiple outputs. But look at the function side, it's strict. That rule, one input, one output, is the entire game. It's what gives us results we can count on every single time. And why do we care so much about this? Because our entire world runs on functions. Think about it. When you hit the A key on your laptop, you expect the letter A to show up, right? Not a Q or a Z. That consistency, that guarantee, that's a function in action. The same input always gives you the same result. It's the very foundation of how we predict anything. Okay, so we get what a function is, but how do we actually look at one? Well, there are 5 main ways. And I want you to think of these not as a boring list to memorize, but as a cool new toolkit. Each tool lets you see the exact same idea, just through a different lens. The most basic way is just listing out the pairs. But honestly, putting them into a neat table like this makes life so much easier. You can just scan right down that input column and instantly see if any output value repeats. It's like the perfect first check. Then, of course, we can get visual. Graphs are awesome because they literally turn all those numbers into a picture, letting you see the story or the pattern at a glance. And arrow diagrams are super useful too. They draw the lines for you, making it crystal clear how each input connects to its one single output.
But the most powerful tool in the whole kit, it's gotta be the equation. I mean, an equation like y equals 2x plus 1, that little thing contains an infinite number of pairs. It's the real workhorse that lets you do all the cool, advanced stuff in math.
All right, now for my favorite part. Let's say you have a graph in front of you. How can you know, like in a split second, if it's a function or not? Well, there's a super simple, kind of magical trick for that. It's called the vertical line test. The steps are so easy. Seriously, just picture a vertical line, like a ruler, and sweep it across the graph from left to right. As you're moving it, just keep an eye on one thing. Does that line ever touch the graph in more than one place at the exact same time? If the answer is no, congratulations, you've got a function. It's that simple. Are you feeling that aha moment right now? That feeling of clarity is exactly what we're aiming for. Hey, if you're finding these explainers are helping you out this semester, please consider supporting our class channel, No Problem Only Solution. It really helps us keep making more clear, no-nonsense math content just for you. Okay, we're almost there. There's just one last piece of the puzzle we need to really understand a function. We need to map out its entire world. All the possible inputs it's allowed to have, and all the possible outputs it can spit out. And that's where domain and range come in. And finding them is pretty straightforward. If you have a graph, you find the domain, the inputs, by scanning from left to right along the bottom x-axis. For the range, the outputs, you just scan from bottom to top along the vertical y-axis. And if you have an equation, just watch out for 2 main troublemakers. You can never divide by 0, and you can't take the square root of a negative number. That's pretty much it. Wow, you've covered a ton of ground. You know what a function is, all the ways to see it, and how to define its world with domain and range. So, what do you say we put those new skills to the test with a quick mastery check? You ready? Let's start with this one. Take a look at those input values. See anything suspicious? Yep, there it is. The input 1 is trying to go to two different places, 2 and 3. That's a rule breaker. So nope, not a function.
Okay, now for a visual one. Picture that vertical line sweeping across this nice U shape. Is there any point where it would hit the curve twice? No way! It passes the test with flying colors. This is definitely a function. Awesome.
Last one. Look at that equation. Is there any number you could plug in for x that would just break math? Remember that big rule. We can't divide by 0. So x can be any number you can possibly imagine, except 0. That's our domain.
And just like that, you've done it. You've totally mastered the fundamentals of functions. See, you've got this. We're going to be dropping more explainers just like this one for your Math in the Modern World course all semester long. So tell us, what concept do you want us to demystify next? Drop it in the comments below, and we'll tackle it together. Talk to you next time.